Hello everyone and welcome back to another Movie Nights movie review. Today's film is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yes, directed by James Gunn, who directed the first two entries. This is the conclusion to this group of Guardians.
Yes. And by the way, this is going to be a full spoiler review. Take this warning now. If you have not seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, go watch it and come back to this video, but thanks for sticking around for a few seconds anyway.
Add it to your watch later, like, subscribe, all that jazz.
All that bullshit, yes. But full spoilers.
Yes.
This is the final warning. Here we go. Let's dive into Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. First off, I fucking love this movie.
I very much liked it.
I had a great experience watching it. Made me very emotional more than once. I thought that it's one of the more darker MCU films while also being the humorous, fun Guardians film. I think it balanced the tones very, very well. It's not a perfect movie in that there are a couple small little things that kind of like, not rub me the wrong way, but I noticed while watching the film. Every movie. But I gotta say, probably the best MCU movie since No Way Home. I've thoroughly enjoyed the film.
I've always been a huge fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy as a group, and all three movies have made me cry, which the MCU does not get me to do a lot.
Yeah.
No, just a great send-off for every character. Every character got their moment. Just overall, well done, James Gunn.
Yes, very well done.
And I like one. I know one is a popular thing. There's a lot of discourse against 2. I really like 2.
I do think 2 is a big step down. It's in my lower tier MCU films, but I don't dislike the film. I don't think it's a bad film. I just think comparatively.
Before we go into kind of the spoilers, the more details, how would you rank them?
Okay, so
you knew this was coming.
I'm trying not to have recency bias.
Okay.
But I don't know if me trying not to have recency bias is giving me anti-recency bias. And I reserve the right to change my answer. I've seen it once 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Probably 1, 3, 2.
Okay.
But 3 is far more emotional than 1. But I think 1, having the job of introducing all of these characters, creating a story within the Infinity Saga, and having the pacing, I think the first one is the best paced of all 3 movies. I think just that and the way it accomplished it, while being a singular James Gunn kind of vision, was like, it could not fail. It had so many things going against it to fail, and the fact that it did it so spectacularly, I still remember when that movie came out. It came out on my 18th birthday. I remember seeing that movie. So I don't know if there's that debate. It's 1 or 3, but I think they're on the same level.
Okay. Just
tomorrow I'm gonna say actually it's 3-1-2.
Day of the week. Yeah. I think I go 3-1-2.
Okay.
You said setting up the Infinity Saga. Did you see the interview where someone asked just about Marvel's interference or whatever?
Yeah.
What Marvel asked. He goes, no, they really only asked me when we were doing the first Guardians. Kevin was like, hey, we need to introduce the Infinity Stones. And he went, okay. And then he slapped Chris Pratt and he goes, hour and a half wrote that scene. And he goes, and it became the whole storyline going forward. He goes, I said, all right. And I just went, the stones were created. Just the basis for the rest of the cinematic universe.
Yeah, so funny. Yeah, but that's so funny. That's so crazy. But let's dive into some spoilers of Guardians 3 here.
Yes.
Geniuses in making us think so many people were going to die, and no one died. But I wasn't dissatisfied.
No, I mean,
at all.
That marketing was very much, hey, we're going to fucking kill Rocket.
Yeah.
And they don't. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, one of them has to die. I was banking on Drax.
Yeah, same.
And they handled everything just so well. And James Gunn kind of toys with that expectation a lot throughout the movie and does it very well.
Yeah. And I wasn't dissatisfied with anyone's conclusion. And that's including, I went into Guardians partially being like, I can't wait for Star-Lord and Gamora to get back together. Yeah. And they don't. But the way they handled it was so well done and so beautiful. I was like, I'm not even mad. How it was resolved.
Oh, yeah. Their last scene together was just
heart-wrenching.
I love her and Nebula just walk away.
Yeah. But by the way, the acting, Chris Pratt crushes it. The actor who plays High Revolutionary's name is leaving me.
Chukwudi.
Yes.
I don't remember how to pronounce
but
his
he was
last
on
name.
Peacemaker.
Yes.
He did a phenomenal job.
He's great.
And I thought Mantis did great. I thought Karen Gillan did great. Drax, everyone got more to do.
Yes.
And I thought that of the core group, and I thought that was really nice to see. I thought that I love the personal, literally the plot of this movie is Rocket gets gravely injured, and all the Guardians are like, we need to save Rocket.
Yeah.
I love that was the plot to the movie. I have not felt like very personal stakes like that in a very long time, and you so believe that at any moment Rocket would bite it.
Well, because also, like, there wasn't this, like, yes, it goes into bad guy wanting to do something to the universe, but without Rocket, like, that storyline still happens. It's just now the Guardians are involved in it. I thought that worked well organically.
Yeah. There's also setup that you don't realize is setup, and then when it pays off, it's genius. Like, fucking Rocket in the beginning with his gravity boots.
Oh, yeah.
Loved that. That was fucking awesome. But let's talk about Rocket. This movie's about him.
Yes.
And the backstory is so heartbreaking and heart-wrenching. And the flashbacks were...
a lot of animal cruelty.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
For trigger warning.
Well, if they're watching this, they've seen it.
Oh, true. Yeah,
but it's very... It wasn't gratuitous, and it was done to show the pain that this character has been through.
Yes.
And just how horrific this villain is. And when I rewatch everything with Rocket now, I'm going to have a whole different view on how I see him. And I've always liked the character, but like forever now more so. You know, like it's... And Bradley Cooper does a great job voicing him. And there were 2 other actors who did voices for him. One did Baby Rocket, and then Sean Gunn did Teenage Rocket.
Oh, really?
I read, yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
And Sean Gunn is the on-set Rocket.
Who's also Kraglin.
Yeah. I thought that the dynamic with the young Baby Rocket and his friends, the dynamic between Baby Rocket and the High Evolutionary, and I thought that all the Guardians' camaraderie was great. Nathan Fillion's great in the movie.
Nathan Fillion was very good in it, yeah.
Sylvester Stallone was there again, and it was fun to see.
It's just like, why is Sylvester Stallone
Yeah.
here? Yeah.
Oh, and okay. The internet's giving Adam Warlock a lot of shit. I enjoyed it greatly. I greatly enjoyed Adam Warlock scenes.
I mean, it's definitely... I think it works because, I mean, I think it's definitely not the last time we've seen the character.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that they're building toward this comic thing, but from what they did from the story's standpoint with what they set up with him in 2, fully makes sense for him to be this...
I agree.
Himbo baby, like...
I fully
I'm all
agree.
powerful, nothing can hurt me, and then getting hurt constantly.
I fully agree with
thing.
that. Absolutely.
I saw a lot of people criticizing the High Evolutionary performance, how he starts off really well and then delves into just screaming bad guy.
That's his whole...
But that's like, it makes sense. He's getting increasingly more and more frustrated.
Yeah, and as he gets more frustrated, he gets more irrational.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're watching that. Like, he's crawling on the floor like, what's happened? Yeah.
And like,
very good. Great performance. Like,
great performance. Yeah. And I saw a great video essay comparing him to Red Skull and how they're very similar in their ideologies and their physical deformities. But just like they're trying to create like the perfect race and like the perfect everything. And then something happens where they have to, and they weren't like, it wasn't negative. It was just like, I think that's just an interesting
dichotomy.
So, yeah. And so that was great. Seeing all of Rocket's friends die. Heartbreaking. Rocket's reaction, heartbreaking.
Especially because in a way, like, you watch that he's indirectly...
Yeah.
Or more directly.
He feels indirectly responsible.
Yes. Which, fair.
And the Chris Pratt performance when Rocket flatlines for a moment there.
Yeah.
The heaven scene fucked me up with Rocket and coming back. The... Groot saying, "I love you guys," really got me. And then fucking James Gunn clarifying that he still says, "I am Groot," but now the audience just can understand what he can say.
Yeah, because Gamora doesn't throughout the movie either. And then toward the end, you kind of see that she understands it.
Yeah.
Which means they got Vin Diesel in the booth again.
Yeah, gave him some money.
Now, see, I wonder if that is something, like, let's say Groot shows up again. If we start to get... Are we going to hear that again? Or do you think that was just for that moment?
I don't know. We'll see.
Because he doesn't say anything in the post-credits scene.
Yeah, no. Star-Lord seeing his grandpa was very emotional for me. I liked that scene a lot. It was great.
Drax dancing got me.
Yeah. I like Drax's little arc in the movie too.
Yeah. Do you know what got me? And it's something that I realized too. And I didn't think about it when it happened, but like the first Guardians movie and the second Guardians movie opened very famously with dance numbers, at least toward the beginning, because I know there's kind of preludes, but when like Star-Lord's introduction to Come and Get Your Love, you have Baby Groot dancing to Mr. Blue Sky, which is one of my favorite MCU scenes.
Yeah.
And this one didn't start with that. It started with Creep and like everyone just kind of walking around, Star-Lord's drunk, and I'm like, oh. And what a great way to kind of set you up for the tone of the movie.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize, like, it ends with the dancing instead of beginning with it. And I was like, that's fucking good.
Yeah. Oh, and the Marvel logo just being Guardian stuff.
Yeah, that was big.
I was like,
shocked.
oh, we're fucked. Like,
this is not going to be good.
Yeah. But yeah. So going to some of the negatives of the movie, I thought that it had a lot to do, and some characters got shafted because of it when they were just introduced, like Cosmo and Kraglin. Kraglin really sat on the sidelines with Cosmo. All of the original OG Guardians from the comics that got introduced in 2 had a quick, like, barely did anything. Now I think they kind of played their role and it fit the story more than Kraglin and Cosmo, because there was very much many points of like, shit, okay, they have to stay here, so make sure they stay here, and we have to go do this, and so that you felt the weight of that, of everything that's going on. When we meet Star-Lord and he's really drunk, I was like, oh, this is cool to explore, and then it doesn't get brought up again.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I also think the movie only takes place over the course of a few days, if I'm not mistaken.
That would make sense to me, because Rocket, like, how long could you keep that going?
Yeah, and the only thing that bothered me a little bit, and I saw this get brought up in Chris Stuckman's review, was the flashbacks started off whenever we see Rocket, and it's kind of insinuated that he's thinking about the flashbacks, but then it kind of breaks that rule, and then just having flashbacks appear during the movie. And it was just like, oh, it almost felt like they shouldn't have had him in, like, Rocket when the flashbacks happen at all, or with every time. But
it's like
they
set a rule, don't break it.
Yeah, but they kind of did both, and it just felt weird. But I agreed with that criticism when I heard it.
I don't think that's like detrimental to the movie though. Like that didn't take me out of the movie, but that's a fair critique from just a filmmaking perspective.
And I don't think the movie's paced as well as the first Guardians. I mean, it's not poorly paced, but there's definitely times in the movie where I was like, all right, I can feel that this movie is kind of long. The great stuff in it. It has the best, arguably the best action sequence in the MCU. Arguably.
With a great needle drop.
Yes. And
shocking.
Yeah, right. But it was excellently done.
Oh, yeah, no, from like the technical standpoint.
The VFX, very good.
Throughout the movie were very solid. I didn't like the living planet thing that they go to. Or Orgathorpe. I didn't care for that part. Yeah. But that was just because I think it creeped me out.
Yeah. Yeah. The humor was still there. Everything with that was great. The first MCU F-bomb I was a big fan of.
It was pretty good.
I liked it a lot. And our theater laughed so hard at that F-bomb drop.
That was so unfortunately they released that clip online and I saw it before, but it was bleeped and I was like, oh,
like, you could tell half the people there hadn't seen it.
No, exactly. And I kind of wish that I didn't get that scene spoiled, because if I was watching the I'm like, holy shit, did he just say the F word?
Yeah. It was great. But yeah, overall, I think it's a fantastic film. I think I'm still debating in my head if I think this or Air is my number one, but I think it's a close toss-up between the two. Exceptionally well done. And this is the last movie with this team of Guardians, and I fully believe that.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I've always liked James Gunn as a filmmaker, but I now more than ever look forward to what he's going to do over at DC.
Do you think we'll see these characters again, like, not as a Guardians movie, but as a Guardians team, like in a Secret Wars or
maybe
any of those kind of?
Well, we did get one guaranteed return at the end there.
Yeah, I didn't care for, like, I liked the post-credits scene. I didn't care for the title card of, like,
the legendary.
Yeah, like, he could have just been back. Like, I would have been fine. I feel like that was put in, like, without James Gunn knowing.
Well, they did that with Thor.
That's what I mean. Thor
Yeah.
will return, and Chris Hemsworth was like, "What? Excuse me." So, but no, I mean, just a great ending to everything.
Mhm.
I kind of want to see Star-Lord again. Just I want little vignettes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the right word? Vignette of like just like little skits of him on Earth.
Yeah.
Like he has to go to California from Missouri and has to like go to an airport. I can't just like hop on the ship and fly there.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What do you mean it's 8 hours to get there?"
That's funny. I haven't thought about that. That would be really funny.
He has to go to a grocery store. He's got to learn like U.S. currency.
Yeah.
He's gonna binge watch stuff on Netflix.
Like crying on the couch, like watching
Yeah,
Paddington.
exactly. Yeah. All the music.
Yeah.
It'll be definitely interesting.
He's definitely gonna get an iPhone.
Oh yeah. Just stuff like that. I feel like will be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's gonna be. Yeah, I look forward to that. But yeah, I love the movie,
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very good.
and I highly recommend.
Mm-hmm.
Highly recommend.
Definitely.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But
I
yeah,
hope this trend. I hope Marvel keeps putting out some good ones. I know we've been in a bit of a slump lately.
I think
so.
Secret Invasion will be great.
Mm-hmm.
I think Loki season 2 will be great.
What's the next movie? Marvels.
Listen,
We'll see.
I hope it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Nia DaCosta is a great filmmaker. Box office, I'm curious about because
Mhm.
people forget that Captain Marvel made over $1 billion.
Yeah.
So
Well, Marvel could sneeze and it would have made $1 billion during that era. Personally.
yeah, it was in between Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
But $1 billion is not
Oh no,
like
it's a feat.
Yeah,
Like that's not
yeah.
an easy thing to do.
yeah.
But
Like people, Marvel did it so often that it became the rule instead of the exception. But people still need to realize, like, no, that's very much an exception to the rule.
yeah.
But yeah, I love the movie. Go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the show tomorrow.